Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jimmeron, and today we're going to try to figure out what in the world is my beautiful paper smile. This is a very interesting one. It's a unique game, and it may seem like a small one, but trust me, there's a lot to cover here. So let's start first things first. This game is developed by 2 Star Games. It's a one-man team, one-man army. The man is by himself, and he's apparently using the Unreal Engine to make this video game. So, props to that. Respect that. It is published by V Publishing. This is their first title that they've published, and they're bringing 2 more in the mix here in the short span of time. But as far as the developer's concerned, the only other game they've made is similar art style than this one, which is kind of like a paper 2D kind of deal. And it is called My Friend is a Raven, and it's a free one, so go check it out. This is the early access of my beautiful paper smile. It's the first 2 chapters, and I'm only allowed to talk about the first chapter, which I finished, and it is pretty good. Some issues that I want to touch on. This wouldn't be a critique after all, would it now? The game is planned to be releasing on early access on June 19th, so approximately 6 days until this comes live. And it's going to be for the price of $14.99, which it is absolutely fair in accordance to how much gameplay there seems to be available in this game, coming in the full 4 chapters. And the kind of quality game that it provides as well. Now, as usual, we're going to start with the settings. There's a lot I want to touch on as far as what the game needs to improve on when it comes to the mechanics and optimization and all this stuff. So let's start first things first. This is the settings menu, right? First problem I noticed, post-processing. Everything's bundled or post-processing, which should not be the case, but even worse, it doesn't actually tell you what it does, and there's actually on or off. There's no middle option, although it's a slider. This needs to be addressed, absolutely, I think. The only thing I can imagine that I noticed when you increase the slider is when you go back, there's this vignette effect that comes into play, which I absolutely despise in video games, although some people may like it because it increases the atmosphere. Anti-aliasing, it's one of those things that you may want to turn down if you're having performance issues, which is what I'm having here, which I don't understand how there's some performance issues, and I'm going to expand on that here after I'm done. Resolution, this is just a slider. I cannot agree with this one, right? Turning down the resolution, as you can see, it made everything super incredibly blurry, but my frame rate is up. If I turn up the resolution to a state where I can actually see the details on the background, frame rate goes down. This is not 60 FPS, by the way, which boggles my mind. Shadows, I didn't really see a need to turn them off, even though it dramatically increases your frame rate. This is one of those games that you actually absolutely need the shadows, so don't turn those off. And then you got volume. Just going to turn this thing to medium, although the only ambient noise that I can primarily notice for the most part is this really low frequency bass hum, and if you're in speakers you may want to turn it down because they actually gave me a headache. If you're with headphones, it's a little bit better, believe it or not. I don't understand how that happens, but I guess the subwoofer on my speakers pretty much shakes the whole room. I don't know. Volumetric fog and a full screen. Nothing changes for me as far as VSync and G-Sync and all that stuff. The game runs very, very slowly. It is not very well optimized. I have a 3800X processor and a 2070, so you would think that it would be able to handle a bunch of 2D drawings. And I say drawings because, surprisingly enough, and props to the developer, all this is hand-drawn and transferred into the game. That is pretty good. That is pretty fun. I think that's very talented. So let's go back. These are the controls. I really do wish that the game supported a controller. It would be so much better if it had controller support. Although some of the things would be too far to reach. This is a point and click, after all, and I don't know exactly how a controller would be working for this one. Maybe automatically, activate whatever is in the proximity. So I don't know. Controller would be nice. I don't think it's necessary. What is necessary, however, is to improve the ungodly amount of mouse input lag that the game suffers from. This is a point and click adventure with some walking, and you have to constantly aim and click and everything. My mouse right now is running at less than 30 frames per second, so it is really difficult in combination with the 30 frames per second halving, as well as the input lag. Aiming for whatever I need to click, it's very frustrating, and I really do hope that before it at least leaves early access, and even during early access, this gets addressed. It's a really big one for me. So hopefully the developer sees this and addresses the issue at hand. Now, you cannot really change the WASD stuff. Well, you can, but oh crap. Let's reset this. You can, the only thing that you cannot do is control the menu with the arrow keys and enter. It's only a few times in my life where I've actually wanted to do that. I do prefer using a mouse pointer cursor on menus for video games, but when it's really this laggy and actually kind of difficult for me to choose the option, then I switch to mouse and keyboard prompts, and evidently enough, that is not something I can do. So these are the chapters. The first one is kind of short. It didn't take me too long to complete. The second one, I'm not sure because I haven't played. I don't want to play. I don't want to spoil anything, even by accident. So I did watch the intro after the first chapter is finished. I'm not going to speak on what the second chapter has to offer, even on the intro, because I did, after all, sign an NDA digitally, and I don't want to ruin my relationship. Now, while this is loading, I want to talk about the fact that, yes, this is ultra-wide, technically. What I mean by that is it's suffering from the same thing that a lot of games are suffering from. The menu and the HUD and everything, and the text, everything is perfectly aligned with the ultra-wide. However, the game actually does zoom in. And I noticed that because in these situations here, there would be a text dialogue and it would be off the screen on the top, so I had no clue what the text dialogue would say. That comes a little bit towards the middle, I believe, of the game, so hopefully I can get to that by doing the gameplay, so you can have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Now, another small detail I want to kind of criticize, by the way, this is a boss that you're going to have to fight. Another thing I want to criticize is the fact that you actually always need to click to proceed on the text. I think it's fair to ask that you can press space or something like that in order to proceed, because my hands are always on the WASD keys and I never actually have to worry about removing them. But sometimes, I want to stretch, I want to drink some water, I want to proceed with dialogue, but I do have to click, which is kind of annoying. So keep that in mind. There's no voice acting, and I do wish there was a little bit more of a melody in the background, but for the most part, this is what the game looks like. It's black and white. I am zoomed in right now, which is really annoying. I wish, hopefully in the future, what they actually do, what developer actually does, one-man killing machine here, I hope that they, first of all, let me choose my resolution. And then second of all, let me choose my aspect ratio, because if my game is going to be zoomed in on my ultra-wide, then I don't want to play ultra-wide. I want to... I'm actually waiting for something here. Okay, here we go. I do want to be able to play on side lines. I'm not gonna mind that. I will actually prefer to be able to see all of the game instead of some of the game when it's zoomed in, rather than missing out dialogue too, which is really important. And we got to talk to these guys. Let me talk about a little bit of the setting of what the game is. A lot of it is left open-ended so that you can make your own assumptions and everything, but long story short, you are assuming the role of the Joyous, which are children that live in a facility, and they are forced to always be happy by various means. So as you can see, the children are not in a very good psychological state, judging by their hair. They're not very happy, but they have to be happy. There's a king that's in charge and has presumably set this plan online, and you are just not allowed to be sad. That's the society that the children live in, and they're called the Joyous. They're not allowed to ever take the mask off, and I will show you what happens if you try to take the mask off. And you are never allowed to be sad, because otherwise you may not be seen again. Yeah, let's just put it that way. You may not be seen again. So it is here we go. It's pretty dark. If you walk in the dark too much, you kind of die, so you have to put this on. It's kind of like a lamp that you have to wear. And now this is the first quest that we embark ourselves onto. You do press the WASD keys to walk. That's kind of creepy. And then you press shift to walk a little bit faster. Gotta pick this up. And if you notice, that moved over there, and boom. Now, this may not seem too scary, but it was very, very, very creepy when I played it. So keep that in mind. It is pretty nerve-wracking to be playing this game without any audio and without talking to yourself, so that you can kind of feel a little bit better about it. Now, you may notice these footprints on the ground. Every time you see them, try not to follow them for too long unless it's the only path that you can take. That's the footprints of the guy that can kill you. Well, not guy, but pretty much the boss. We don't know what it is yet. It is wearing a mask. That's why we needed to pick up the plank. Cannot fall to your death, so don't worry about that. And you do have to avoid him. It's one of those games where you have sections of someone chasing you. And this will happen here in a second. And feel free to follow the same strategy, I guess, in order to escape him. It's pretty nerve-wracking sometimes when it's chasing you. Imperfection is punished by torture. Pay attention to these things in the background, because it will change when we run back, and then may or may not disappear. So here's our masked friend. That's the door that we have to get to. Not very friendly, spoiler alert. And this is what I was talking about with the dialogue. A lot of the times, this will be a lot higher, and it will be actually hiding the dialogue. So, developer, if you are listening, please let me change or select my own aspect ratio. I do appreciate that it defaults, and yeah, there we go. This is hiding again. And he's about to fuck me, and I need to run. Please don't do much to me. There we go. So, dying with me is a painless death. I don't think so. He did kill me and the first time. A lot of times in these games, what I actually try to do is lose on purpose so that I can see what happens. Now, the thing that we got to do here... Oh, shit, he is with... What the fuck? I was running... Well, fuck me now. I was actually sprinting. Is that meant to happen? Are you meant to actually die the first time? I'm not sure. But I did actually die the first time when I played this, so I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Was I not sprinting? Pretty sure I was sprinting. Anyway. I don't know if the light... the first time I actually played this, I went through the light, so maybe the light does slow him down. Unfortunately, when you repeat sections like these, you do have to sit through the animations and all this stuff, so that's kind of time consuming. What I'd like to see is for the ability to skip these. Oh, there we go. We can skip this. Second time around. I'm gonna start running. I am sprinting, so hopefully this guy doesn't. There is a static noise that is coming from the side from where the demon baby actually is chasing you from, so don't keep that in mind. And let's see, can I escape him this time? Ooh, oh fuck, what the fuck? Why can I not beat this now? This is so stupid. Oh, this is so stupid. Come on, I can do this. Alright. The frame rate is a big issue with this game. I really do wish it was running higher. I just don't understand why exactly it is so unoptimized, really. That's all there is to that. And the developer does claim that everything is hand-drawn, but the font right there is a default font, judging by the R's. Okay. Let's skip this again. It's gonna be the last time I try this because I don't want to freak myself out by losing all the fucking time. Yeah, so I don't know. I was able to outrun him last time, so I don't know what is happening now. Oh, the light actually slows him down, probably. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Managed to bug the game, so he kinda got stuck on the wall there. I didn't know that that was a possibility, but I'm actually glad I did it. Fuck me. This is really, really nerve-wracking. Even though I've done it before. I'm a pussy when it comes to these games, I'm not gonna lie. This is not the most fun for me. There we go. So, one kid didn't make it. This game is really fucking dark. What happens after this is pretty crazy. So, they take this kid away that is crying, because you're not allowed to be sad. And then, watch what this guy does to the door. That is pretty grim, pretty fucking dark. Alright, tells us to go back. Alright. We out of here. This is my friend. And boom. Locks the door. That kid is fucked. That kid is extremely fucked. So, this is the main hub area. This is pretty much what the gameplay is. You do have the inventory where you're going to be picking items up and you're going to be placing them around. There are boss fights at the end of each chapter, according to the reviewer's guide that they gave me. It kind of gives me, you know, how to defeat each one, but I'm not going to spoil anything like that. I do think this is a really brilliant idea. I like the concept. I like the art direction that the game is following. It's pretty unique. I've never personally played anything similar to this, so I am going to be playing the next chapter and then the other two when they come out. It does... the developer is saying that they plan on leaving early access and releasing the final 3 and 4 chapters by the end of this year. This is not definite. This is pretty much something that is speculatory still. So take that with a grain of salt, and I guess keep following the game news if you want to see when the actual thing releases. But June 19th is when this game is going to be releasing on Steam for $14.99. And I like the first chapter. I'm going to be playing the second chapter. By that time, I'm going to have played the second chapter, and Steam will be allowing me to do a review and give a more broad opinion of what both chapters are. I'm just really not allowed to talk about the second chapter. That's why I kind of avoided playing it. So, yeah. I do want to see the improvements that I touched on the beginning to make the game a little bit more playable. The optimization needs to come, the aspect ratio, the options menu. There's silly things that you hit escape to go into the menu, but hitting it again does not leave the menu. You have to hit continue or whatever you want to do. So these settings need to be massively improved. The resolution and the aspect ratio, they do need to be there. And if possible, if not possible to separate post-processing options to its own category, then at least describe what they have to offer. So those are the things that I want, that I would like to see changed on the settings menu. Other than that, that pretty much covers it. So hopefully you guys liked this one. My Beautiful Paper Smile, June 19th on Steam for $14.99, or your regional equivalent. See you next time.